Welcome back to Solo Marvel Champion. I have hit 500 subscribers, and I want to say thank you to each and every subscriber with a little behind the scenes video. I want to start down at my recording area. This is a jank tripod that I got from Walmart. Now, early in the channel, some of the earliest videos had a lot of camera shake, and that was because of this tripod. Now, I did end up adding some weights to it, and that has eliminated most of that camera shake. Sometimes if I pound the table hard, I'll still get a little shake, but for the most part, that's been eliminated. I also had to make this non-slip mat because even when I was just putting rubber under the feet, that tripod would shift around a little bit. Also, mounting it the way I have makes it so that when I have to clean up the table for dinner, I can slide this whole assembly aside, and then when I'm ready to record again, get it right back in the same position. These lines on the mat help me line that up for the perfect shot every time. Now, this bones setup over here, this is literally just to add some shadow to eliminate the glare on these cards when I'm recording. So I don't have everything set up properly at the moment, so you do see a lot of glare there. But when I record, I am meticulously moving this around, making sure I'm eliminating as much glare as I can. This here should have a light bulb in it, but I don't use that one for light. That one is just to block a lot of that light coming from that bulb there. Then I do have one with a light bulb in it. This one here, and my God, I hate that curtain. My wife loves those curtains for some reason. But this one is a light source I use for when I'm filming. Now, of course, you've noticed that I use dice when I'm playing, and I store them in this box. This box is the box that came with the coin capsules that I got for Arkham Horror. And it just so happens that all of my dice and all of my status cards fit in here perfectly, and this will shut, making it super easy for travel. All of my tokens, counters, etc. I've got right in this box. It's thin, it's small, makes it really easy to travel with. So that's my recording setup, and now we'll go upstairs and I'll take a look at my storage solution and a little digital behind the scenes, show you how I set up videos and do certain things when I get into editing. Alright, so here is my office upstairs. Just like the game, I like to be really modular. I keep my heroes on the top shelf here. I have Avengers on my table to show you what the box looks like, but these are my Guardians, Web Warriors, Champions, Mutants. Have X-Men and X-Force. I didn't feel like putting both names on there, so that box is just Mutants. This one is a 500 count BCW box. This is an 800, and a lot of my boxes are going to 800 just because that's how many cards we have now. These 800 count boxes will fit a trilogy of campaigns fully sleeved, so I like that. Core and Sinister Motives, that is going to end up going into an 800 count box when we get Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I also have my other games sorted this way. Lord of the Rings is in these boxes, Legend of the Five Rings is in these boxes, and I do have a couple other games in these boxes as well. They come in really handy, and they're super duper cheap. Come over here to my desk. I do a lot of deck testing here because this is a good size. I don't have to take decks downstairs just to test them. These are my aspect cards. Again, sorted, fully sleeved. All I have to do is pull the box out. So typically when I'm working, I'll work on this center screen. And then if I'm assembling a deck, I'll pop it over to this screen so I can build it here on this desk. Now, this is my Avengers box. All of these dividers are just hand printed on cardstock. And that back there is just to take up space. Those are some neutral cards from Arkham Horror. And you can see back in the corner, I have a few cards that I just haven't sorted back into their boxes yet. And then these are Commander deck boxes for Magic the Gathering. I had given a friend of mine a core set. I gifted him a core set, and he and his son played it, but didn't really get into the game as much as I am, so they gave it back to me. And I have pre-sleeved Rhino, Claw, Ultron, and Standard and Expert sets, and they fit in here perfectly. So when I travel, I can take the whole core set with me in this one box. And then this one right now has two. This has Ironheart and Mr. Sinister from when I played that game. I don't know when this video will go live, if you've seen that game or not. But this would hold two heroes as well. So if I travel, I could take two heroes and all of the core villains in those two boxes. I really like that. So when I get into my digital portion of this, I'll talk about how I organize everything digitally and then the process of putting a video together. Alright, first in digital behind the scenes, I want to talk about the spreadsheet I use. I've only been using this since June to help me schedule my videos because I did have that 3-month period, March, April, May, where I was working 60 hours a week, and I found it really hard to work 6-10 hour days and then come home and make videos. So that's why you didn't see many videos in that period. So I started this in June, and I do have some color coding. Blue means it's public. So June, July, those are all public. In August, anything that's already scheduled is in green. Yellow means I've done some work on that, but haven't finished it. And then red is not completed at all. Like I've got it listed that I have to do it, but I haven't even started yet in some cases. This one for the spreadsheet, I'm actually making that video right now. So let's go ahead and make that yellow. So that, like I say, just helps me to stay on schedule, get on schedule and stay on schedule. So you can see here, Battle for the Core, Shatterverse. I've talked about these a little bit in a couple different times, or at a couple different times. And basically, I just had to create some environment cards to make these work out. And that's the only thing I've done on those videos. But I do have them scheduled to release on, or I shouldn't say I have them scheduled. I have them listed to report on the 23rd, 29th, and 30th, but I haven't done any work beyond what I've got listed here. So, like I said, that is just to keep me on track. Next, I want to talk about XSplit Broadcaster. That's what I use to record segments like this. Most of the time, you see this when I'm using Hall of Heroes. Now, you'll notice, recording like this, I have a header at the top of the screen. Like right now, the header says Digital Behind the Scenes. But the reason I do that is because XSplit Broadcaster is free. But when you use it for free, you get a watermark. So when I remove that header, you can see this is my watermark right up here. So I don't want to pay for it. It's only like $60 a year, but all of the software I use is free. So I don't want to pay for this, so I record in XSplit Broadcaster and then just put a header over the top of the screen. And that gets rid of my watermark for me. So next is GIMP. GIMP is a free software that is very much like Photoshop. But because it's free, it doesn't do everything that Photoshop can do. It does a lot of the things Photoshop can do. The biggest thing is it doesn't do, or it can't export into CMYK, or CMYK. So I can't do anything for print with GIMP. I would have to use Photoshop for that. But that's okay. Most of what I do is for digital. So here is my thumbnail for an upcoming video. I have, if you can see here in the corner, these are all the layers I have for this particular file. So I've got a folder for logos. This has that upper right Marvel Champions. This has, oh, that one is MC logo. This is my logo in the lower left corner. I did some quote-unquote what-if videos, and that puts Miles on the screen in school thinking, what if, blah, blah, blah. That's fun. I need to do more what-if videos. Strip layer. Some of my videos, earlier videos, had this strip at top or bottom. And that was just a way to set that text apart. Mid text, I usually just use this one and edit it, but that's the text you see on the screen. I can put my cards up, like when I have favorite hero cards. Oops, that is for one that you haven't seen yet. Mod sets, if I'm talking about mod sets. Hero cards, villain cards. This is just a way to quickly build a thumbnail. And what I typically do when I'm making a video is I will record the game, and I use my Galaxy, I think it's an S22 Ultra, to record those games. And then after it's recorded, but before I even start editing, I will make the thumbnail, because I want to remember early something I said in the video. So I don't want to have to think, oh man, what am I going to do for this thumbnail? I always make the thumbnail right away, and then if I have to scrap the video, of course I can't use that thumbnail. If it has something pertinent to the actual recording, sometimes I'll come back and change this text. I actually changed the text on this thumbnail 2 or 3 times, not because I had to re-record the video, but because I just had a different feeling for what that should say. And most of the time, this hero card is going to be the hero side. But for this particular video, I decided to leave that as Jean Grey. And once you see that video, and maybe it's already come out, I don't know when this video will come out, but once you've seen this video, you'll understand why I put Jean here instead of Phoenix. So I do other things in GIMP. One of the things is that sidebar that you see to the left of all of my gameplay videos. That's just this right here. I can change the frame color based on what aspect I'm playing that day. So aggression, justice, leadership, protection, whatever aspect I'm playing, that is the color of the background for that sidebar. Just like on the thumbnail, the background color is the aspect. So you know just by looking at this thumbnail that this is Phoenix versus Expert Rhino, because I've got 2 and 3, and it's in aggression. That's how I do my thumbnails. That's how I do my sidebars. Alright, before I actually show you GIMP, I want to show a little bit of organization I do before I get to laying out a video. I have this folder called YouTube in Progress. This holds all of the common files I use when I'm making a video. And I always start with this folder, vid smc number. That's a solo Marvel champion. That's this channel. This SZ is my other channel, session 0. I do that. I do basically the same process for both channels. And what it's done is really help streamline and make all my videos consistent from one video to the next. I'm going to start, anytime I start, I just copy this file and then rename it, or this folder and rename it. And the reason I do that is this has some folders already set up. Most of these are empty. In fact, the only two folders here that have anything in them right now are Ollie, which has my starter file for my Olive projects. Olive is what I use for recording, or not for recording, for editing videos. And there is one file in pub that is YT text. That's what you're seeing right here. So I typically will pre-write my title, description. All of this is standard in every description, so that's always included. Let's just pull up that YT text in here. This is just a blank template, and I'll add my title, my description. When I do a comment, I'm pre-writing a comment because I can't add a comment to a video that hasn't been published yet. So I'll pre-write this because it's top of mind, and then the morning of the release, as soon as it releases, like 1 second into release, I copy this, paste it into the video, and then pin it so that it's always there. In my Ollie file, we're going to go ahead and look at the starter project file. This has a lot of the same functionality as this folder does. It has some stuff preloaded. Audio, Field of Heroes, that's the background music of all my videos. The new order you see at the end of videos now, or you hear at the end of videos now. Background, I don't really do anything with on this channel, but I will a lot of times put background files in for my other channel, Session Zero. Video images is a folder which holds images specific to this video. Common are some common files that are used in all of my videos. Sidebar, this has all of my sidebars preloaded, so whatever aspect I'm running, I just have to knock that down there. Change it to 168 horizontal, and that's going to show up on the left of my screen. Video is where I import my raw video files. So we're going to go in. Oh, I was already there at Phoenix. Well, let's go to subs. Here I have, and this folder is called raw-seg. So this has 3 files in it already. These are the 2 files I recorded. Setup raw, this is how I record. That's what you saw at the very beginning of this video. Organization raw, that is me showing off my office and how I make my decks, how I store my cards, etc. And then this one ends in seg. This is the compilation of these 2 videos with some editing on it. That just makes it easier for Olive when I get to putting the whole video together, because Olive is a free program with a crazy amount of bugs in it. So I do as much as I can ahead of time to help the program out. Instead of my final video having 4 or 5 segments in it, it's only going to have like 2. This one and then the major one that is going to be part of the video. So that's what that looks like. And then here in Olive, I have some stuff down here. Right now they're enabled, so you don't see them on screen. But these are here to assist me in quickly putting videos together. 25% right is just an arrow pointing right at 25% scale, and I can go in and change the scale, rotate it however I want to, move it wherever I need to. Reminders, I actually could move this out. I don't ever really look at it on screen, but that is just a list of, hey, don't forget, these are where these things go on screen. Sidebar, 168 by 540. Villain, 168 by 230, 60% scale. etc. Those are just things so that I don't have to look up and remember, oh yeah, this is where I put these elements on screen. That's already set, which makes it a lot faster. Quick text is literally just that. When I just want to pop up a 3-second thing on screen that says that, a lot of times that's when I correct something I say. Like I might say, I take 1 consequential damage, but what I meant to say was, I take 1 indirect damage. I will just put a quick text up. That's indirect, and that's going to be on screen for 3 seconds. Doctor Strange, you're seeing that at the end of the video now. I had some videos where he was at the front, but now he's just at the end, and the way he is pointing, when you get to the end of the screen, or the end of the video, I have my logo sitting here, and that is actually the subscribe button at the end of the video. So it just looks like he's pointing up to it and saying, hey, subscribe. Next is the 7-second pop-up. So most of the time I'm using this when I'm, all right, what's going on? Control C, Control V. Most of the time I just use this when I'm explaining a mistake I made. You know, I should have added 1 more threat. And then that's on screen for 7 seconds. It pops up, it says what I need to say, and then hides again, goes back down. And really, I just did that to automate this process, because earlier on the channel, I was like doing all of this stuff every single time. So this has some keyframes in it, the text has some keyframes in it, and I was doing all of this all the time. And these keyframes are what make it come up and down. So I was doing that stuff all the time, and finally I got wise and said, why don't I just do that, and I can just copy it and paste it where I need it to go. So that's what I did. So yeah, this is Olive. This is how I make my videos. Let's put a video in here, and I'll just show you what this looks like. Let's put 2 videos in here. And you're going to see it in the upper right corner here, how this works. Or I shouldn't say how it works, but you'll see in the upper right corner what I'm seeing as I'm editing. And I can actually pop this over to my 3rd screen. So I have this on a really big screen I'm watching. I normally watch it on my big screen rather than this preview window. But editing process is long, because what I typically do on the first pass, I'm putting in some of my editing elements. On the second pass, I'm just watching it, and a lot of times I'll need to add more editing elements. And then every time I add more elements, I end up watching it from the beginning over again. That's why, especially on a really long video, and when I say long, like I'm talking 25 minutes. I know there are videos out there that are an hour and a half long. I don't ever want to do a video that long. For me, long is 25. On a long video, okay, that's 25 minutes of recording, and then sometimes up to 2-3 hours of editing, because I'm rewatching the video so many times and stopping it, adding in editing, adding notes, etc., doing my transitions between villains, adding different cards to the screen, whatever the case may be. The editing process takes a long time, and that's why I've finally gotten around to not scrapping videos if I find a really bad mistake. I hate putting a video out with mistakes, but because the editing process is so long, I have started just to not bother with that. Now, I don't have to do this editing, right? I could just, you know, clip this off a little bit. I don't like to have that long of a lead up. So I'll clip this and just go from there, right? I could always just basically show my raw video. I don't like to do that though. I like the editing process, as big a pain in the butt as it is. I like the editing process, putting stuff on screen, adding sound effects in. I've done that in one video. I don't know how often I'm going to do that. So I do like the editing process. It is just a pain in the butt sometimes. So once it is done, I'm going to export. Quality goes down to 18, and 18 actually, where's the pull down? Is it there? Well, there's a pull down that tells me what all of these factors are. Basically, 18 is fine. 18 is almost lossless. There is some compression, but you don't really lose any frames or anything. And then I go to export, and I'll put it in one of two places. This particular one I would have put in the, let's go back to the main folder here. I put it in the raw seg because this is a segment of the final video. The final video I just put right into pub. And that thumbnail would be in here as well. So that is the digital behind the scenes. The only other thing I want to do with this video is plug a few other channels, so stick around for that for just a moment. Alright, so let's go look at some other channels. Here you can see I'm recording this before I get to 500. By the time I hit 500, this video will be uploaded and ready to go. I've been recording these segments over several different days. But of course, there's my Solo Marvel Champion. I've talked about this before, how I list my videos. Each one of these areas is an area of playlists. So these are my aspect playlists. I've got all the aspects in there. I don't have pool because I haven't played any pool games yet. Campaigns, there's my Pocketverse campaign system, and then campaign reviews. Rise of Red Skull, Sinister Motives, Mutant Genesis, Next Evolution. Those are the only campaigns I've played on the channel thus far. Heroes Alphabetical. This has every playlist for every hero I've played on the channel. Villains by release date. So we get Rhino, Claw, Ultron, then that, then Crossbones, etc. Special videos, my favorites, some previews, my expert games, etc. So that's this channel. And I have another channel, Session Zero, where I mostly talk about a game called Dungeon World. It's a role-playing game that is quote-unquote powered by the apocalypse. It's a really fun system. I love Dungeon World, but I take a lot of inspiration from other RPG systems, especially D&D 5e. A lot of my videos talk about fun things in D&D 5e that you can steal for Dungeon World. So that is my other channel, Session Zero. It's just YouTube at Session Zero. Next, I want to take a look at a couple channels that are smaller than me, just to help them out a little bit. ZiggyZ55, he does a lot of different things. He does do Marvel Champions, but he also does other games as well. Check him out. You can see his handle right up here. Ray Plays Games. Now these two creators I have done a collaboration with. Ray Plays Games and ZiggyZ55. We did that deck swap. That was a lot of fun. Ray Plays Games, what I've seen most on his channel is Marvel Champions and Marvel Legendary. So he's fun to go check out as well. Those channels are smaller than me. Help them out if you want to. At least check them out. Then let's go to some channels that are bigger. Web Warrior Fanatic is a very good content creator. I love his stuff. He does a lot of expert games. I don't do as many expert videos as he does, but I think pretty much every video he does is expert. He is definitely worth checking out. Daring Lime, he is another one who has grown faster than me. Both Web Warrior and Daring Lime started their channels after mine and have surpassed me, and that's totally fine. You know, good for them. I'm glad they were able to do that. There is a lot of good content for this game. Let's go down to Get Up in Game. This is Josh. This was one of the first channels I ever subscribed to. I love his content. He's taken a break for some family reasons and can't wait to see him back. Step into the portal. This is the Brant, and he does a lot of 4-player games, which I like as well. I don't even do 2-player games, so I like seeing someone else do the 4-player game so I don't have to. We have Played a Game. He is another one who does some multiplayer games. He does a lot of fun stuff as well. And he has a really fun series called Beyond the Precon. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, I don't see it. Let's look in his playlists. Not seeing it, but he has a really fun playlist for Beyond the Precon where he looks at the cards and then says, these are some cards we can swap out of the Precon deck. So his channel is a lot of fun. I'm not seeing in my subscriptions D20 or Nelson. Oh, you know why? I'm woodworking. I am subscribed to both of these guys on my Session Zero account and not this one. That's why I don't find them there. There's D20 Woodworking. And there's Nelson's channel. Yeah, on Session Zero, I'm subscribed to these guys. That's why I'm not seeing my subs here on Solo Marvel Champion. But he has a lot of great content as well. So again, if you're liking what I'm doing and haven't seen these bigger channels, I mean, go check them out. I assume you've seen these bigger channels if you're watching me. But then Ziggy Z and Ray Plays Games, go check them out too. They're doing a lot of things as well. So that's it. Thank you to all my subscribers for helping me hit 500. It's been a lot of fun making these videos, playing the game. This is by far my favorite game of all of the solo games I play. I do play, and I'm looking at this here. He has a thumbnail with Lord of the Rings and Arkham Horror, Marvel Champions. I play all of these games, but Marvel Champions is my favorite. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and I hope you have a marvelous day.